This is the Khoa Bui Show. Khoa Bui is an author, international speaker, and entrepreneur. He started his first business selling music CDs in high school at the age of 16. He then went on and built several businesses. He is the founder of River Design, a marketing company that helps businesses get more exposure online and offline. He has appeared on TV, radio, newspaper, and magazines from around the world. He has written and published several books and created various products. Khoa Bui is also an international speaker, corporate trainer, and speaks on topics of business, entrepreneurship, motivation, health, marketing, and online business. You could check out his blog site at www.khoa-bui.com. And now, your host, Mr. Khoa Bui.
Okay, so Joe Duncan, he is the founder of Before 5 a.m., which provides thousands of people around the world the tools in order to achieve the life they want. He is also known as one of the top influencers on the internet, where he also grew his Instagram following to over 500,000 followers organically over 24 months. Joe is on a mission, and one of them is to help inspire over 1 billion people, which I'm sure he will definitely achieve very soon. So I first came across these Instagram videos. I was really inspired by your messages as well. It's really great. I love the quotes and the message that you tell other people as well. Just recently, you were talking about put your dreams first, right? You're putting your dreams first, and not about shifting your life around. Sorry, not about integrating your dreams into your life. It's all about putting your dreams first, so your life follows your dreams. So I love that quote. So we'll touch base on that one. And I would like to kindly welcome you to the show, Mr. Joe Duncan.
Hey, great to be here, and great to hang out with all you guys, and hopefully you guys can get some knowledge today and move the game forward and move towards where you really want to go.
Great, thanks a lot for that. Big thanks for carving out some time today. I know you're really busy, and you're waking up at 5 a.m. as usual, so that's great. So. All right, so let's get straight into it. So can you please tell us a bit about your background? Like how did you get started with everything with inspiring people, and like what was your background, and then how did you get started? Yep.
It's been a long journey for me. When I was quite young, I actually knew what I wanted to do innately, but I had a gift and a talent, but didn't mean I necessarily had the credibility or trust in myself to go out and just share it. Which I think is true for a lot of us. You may know what you're good at or what you'd like to do, but then you see the people doing it and you're like, man, I'm here. I'm little old Joe Duncan from Sydney, and these guys are monsters up here. I'm never going to get there. So I went on that journey. At 17, I had cancer at school, so that wasn't much fun. But I from that experience, I knew something good had to come of that. And I wanted to share that story and help people. But even after I'd beaten cancer, it didn't happen. It didn't click. I ended up working at the local Woolies and with my mates. We all worked at the same Woolies. And I started a few businesses and went on that journey. And I've had some great companies which have made some money, and to be honest, many which lost bloody money. And I think to myself, dude, what are you thinking, Joe? That was a shocker. But anyway, we're all learning experiences. So I got to this point in my life about 30 years of age. So now we're talking about, 15, 20 years on from what I innately felt. But I had to make a change. And the business I had started before then had been a business in the traditional sense. Make money, make profits, do all the things you do in a traditional business. I flicked the switch and said, all right, let's do something else here, man. Let's create art. Let's do what's fun. Let's do what's cool. And see how it plays out. So I dabbled in a few cool little businesses, and one of I'm sure you'll get around to it, is we'll most probably talk about some books and things which have changed my life. But one of them, I'll drop that now, was Seth Godin's book Purple Cow.
Yep.
And that made me think, Joe, let's start some businesses which are outside the normal realm. Let's start some cool things. So that got me thinking, and then eventually I said, you know what, stuff it, man. You've been talking about this Before 5 a.m. thing for 10 years. Originally, it was called 4:59 a.m., right? And thank God, 59 a.m., right? I'm sure you guys, man, Before 5 a.m. is so much cooler. And luck of God, whatever you call it, it came to me kind of around the same time I decided, boom, we're done. And I think it most probably came down to the fact 4:59 didn't look very good on on Instagram. You know, when you type in your name,
Yeah,
and
you
go,
have to put in a dot.
I'm going to create this thing, and you type in and go, oh Jesus,
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
hell. So long story.
Yeah, that's great. So, okay, so you had cancer at 17, and that probably that really changed your way of thinking. But you didn't. It wasn't enough to take the action, and then you started a few businesses, and I guess there was probably a point in your life where it just something has to happen. So, what was that mental script that was going on in your head? What was that thing that triggered everything off? I'm just curious.
You know, everything came together at the moment that I no longer wanted to stand for. Look, I'd read all the books. I'd read all listened to Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins.
Yep.
And there were a couple of fundamental flaws with everyone's motivational material and the content I'd been reading. And I'd read hundreds of books, listened to every audio book you could hear. And the fundamental flaw, I think, was, you know, there needs to be a moment of, you need to create time to do what you love.
Yeah.
And a few years before I started before 5 a.m., about 5 years or 6 years before, something like that, I started to wake up earlier. Because I realized then, even before I started before 5 a.m., all right, man, if something's going to change for you, you better do something, man. So I knew to work up early. Naturally, if you look at the statistics of CEOs, and you know, it's kind of along those lines, they all kind of get up pretty early. So I started. But what I did was I woke up and just worked on my ideas. Everything you guys see on before 5 a.m., I've written 100,000 times. You know, I would write in my journal, bang it out. All right, I'm not on the stage. I'm going to write to myself as if I am. I'm going to share my ideas in the journal. And I started working on these things. So that was a number one, you know, like, all right, look, I'm not here yet, but I'm going to start exploring this. I'll work on my body. I'll work on my mind. And I'll do that before I go to work. And when I go to work, whatever energy I have left will go to that company. But the most important part of my day, the most energy when I just wake up, I'm going to get to the thing I believe I could maybe share one day. So, yeah, that took a bit of time. So that's number one. Number two was the time I actually flipped the script, and it came down to two books, Seth Godin, Purple Cow, and a few of his books which talked about art and making a change. Grant Cardone's book, 10X Rule. And I realized two things in this point. I realized my fundamental flaw in every business I ever had, and Grant Cardone says that it's always true. No one knew who the hell Joe Duncan was. So I knew social media was the tool. All right, man, you got to break through, because if they don't know who you are, you know, you can't get anyone involved. So social media was a great way. And I got sick and tired, and I'm sure you guys all know this, sick and tired of pitching my services and ideas to people who, man, we don't know who you are. So I made sure to change that. And like I always said to a lot of people, you know, a few years ago, no one would take my call. Now I don't have that. So I did that. That was one of my fundamental changes. Creating art, so I never work anymore. And that's to a lot of people. I don't consider my work day work. It's art. I just create what I love. Obviously, there's lots of elements of work. You know, oh, dude, you didn't get into this to go for 300 emails a day, but you know, you love it. You get through what you want. So that's number one. Number two, I was going after a great girl, and her idea of happiness and success was my idea of failure. So that was like, boom, all right, man, you go down this road, Joe, and that's life. Cool. Or you follow your dream and you go off your 5-year-old self and 10-year-old self and you go become a goddamn rock star. Damn rock star by any means. I'm not there. I don't think yet, but I went down that path anyway.
Well, you're becoming the rock star. I can see everyone's liking your post and, you know, your videos that you're pumping out. It's amazing. Yeah, everyone's talking about you. So yeah.
I kind of made that decision that, all right, I'm going to go through this thing. So that was about 30 years of age.
Yeah, okay.
So that gives you an idea.
Wow, that's great. Okay. Okay, so when you made that decision to create your art, did you have like a plan in place where it was like a sequential path? Okay, I'll do this and then this will happen, or was it just I'm just going to pour 100% into this, you know, into my passion, into my writing, inspiring people, and then just let it evolve? Was that the type of
You hit the nail on the head. You know, and this is something I said at a talk I gave the other day too. You guys look at a business plan, and a business plan is designed to do one thing: make you doubt, fear, make you feel you have a lack of credibility, make you feel like you can't do it, make you feel like you don't have the resources. So I've known from other businesses I've done, scrap that. You just go, and you guys notice completely, when you put your heart and soul into something, it usually works out. So I just went all in. I just poured everything in. I gave everything. Even to this day, I give every ounce of energy to what I believe could help people, what I want to share, what I think can make a difference. And I don't have a plan. I'm the guy who tells everyone to have a plan.
Yeah.
I have a plan, but I don't have a plan in that sense. I have a vision, and I go, well, this is it. I'm just going to pour everything out, and the rest will kind of sequentially fall into place. And yes, you do navigate, but when you're starting out, how could you have a plan? Because you could have a plan to say, I'm going to have 10,000 followers in 6 months. That's the worst plan you could ever have. Your plan would be, I'm going to create this much content. I'm going to share this much content every single day. I'm going to connect with these many people. If 6 people comment on my message, I'm going to message 6 of them. And I'm going to, so that's kind of it. And I think to this trap, and I can tell you from so many people I help, of trying to be this very rigid corporation, either whether you treat yourself like a corporation or whether you treat your idea as a corporation. It's for most businesses and for most of you guys, what you want to create and share for the world, that model does not work. It works if you're Goldman Sachs, absolutely, or Macquarie, or it works if you have a traditional bricks and mortar business. But for most of you guys, that's not what you want, right? You guys want to go creative, do what you love, connect with people, share this thing in here. Then you have to go and back yourself up with pure energy and power and put that into whatever you do. And it works out if you do it.
Yeah, that's great. That's excellent. Thanks for that. Okay, so I can see that you're really motivated and you really want to share your message to the world and everything. Like what motivates you to aim for that big goal and to share every single day? What's going on within yourself?
So 2 things when I started. I just wanted to share what I knew I had, whether the gift or the talent. I wanted to share that. And what motivates me every day is wanting to help people and make a difference in their life, because I know there's a lot, and I've said this before, there's a lot of help for people at the bottom of the pile, people who are really struggling. There's a lot of organizations, a lot of money and funding goes to them. And granted, it should be like that, like with Impact Billions, that's kind of what we do. But when you look at the middle class, the lower middle class and the upper middle class, there's a couple of people who need help and support, because they're the ones who are most likely going to make a difference in the world. Simply because they've been brought up in a decent education, decent society, but they don't have the go, they don't know how to move, they feel trapped, as we've all done before. You kind of, I'll just go to work and earn my money, and I'll, 3 years I'll get a new BMW and I'll pay off the house. And I'm like, dude, you don't even want any of that, right? So that's number one. I want to help people, but everyone along the spectrum. A lot of my clients are in that sort of top echelon now, and I also help a lot of kids from places like Detroit or even people who are really struggling. So the whole spectrum. But what really motivates me now, that was most probably what motivated me early on. What motivates me now is the same thing, but a slight different twist. I see how much people suffer, and suffering isn't always people sitting in a corner crying and someone's died. There's so many ways we feel despair, and the biggest way we feel despair is not believing in ourselves, not believing we could be different, not even having our own goals and dreams, not even thinking so small that to pay off a house in 30 years would just be, oh man, to pay off a 500. This is my dream. Like, dude, when you're a 5-year-old kid, you wanted to go to the moon, you wanted to do this and that. And what happens is people get trapped in this sort of thinking. And granted, I also see people who suffer on a far greater level than that too, where they just can't find a way out. So what motivates me now is, dude, you better get out of bed because someone needs your help today. That's good. And, I get 300 direct messages a day. I get about as many emails a day. So it's hard to get back, but I try my best. And if I don't get back to everyone, I definitely try and at least answer that in a sort of formatted way online.
That's really great. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that like you get so many emails per day, and you probably get a lot of stories of how you've helped other people, because you really can't see what people are going through. But when they, I mean, I've been in that situation where I've been struggling, and I had so many bills to pay, and then all of a sudden I come across someone's quote, someone posts something on Instagram, or someone posts a video, and it just really changes your thinking, and that's enough to get someone out of that mess. And I'm pretty sure that you're helping a lot of people do that, just like you said in you're helping that person in Detroit. So yeah, that's really great. Okay, so I had a look at your website as well. You've got a blueprint called the Blueprint of Success. So could you please tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the blueprint is sort of my passion project, and it's really the only product that I kind of I could have offered 100 products up to now, right? But it's not really my thing. I'm a believer in, we're going to do something, do it right, and make sure it makes a difference in someone's life. The blueprint is actually a book I created for myself many years ago, when I started talking about waking up early. And it didn't look as good as the one I've given you guys, but it was just on paper. And so I kind of pieced this together. But the blueprint is a very simple tool I created, and it's the book I could never find in the bookstores. It's the tool no one ever made, which is what I wanted, was a simple format where I could see what needs to be done, fill it out, and then follow those steps and rip it up again after 90 days and do it again. Like a playbook, something I could create and share and see what my vision was, work out what my goals are, and then from there, all right, cool. You worked out who you want to be, what you want to share, what you want to do on your last day on earth. Cool. Now what? And I've given everyone the steps, 10 steps. Like, all right, now we're going to change your routines and habits. Done. Now we're going to change your beliefs. Done. Let's go through it. What's your current set of beliefs? All right, well, I actually think this, if you're very honest. Well, let's grab that and think something else. So it's a lifetime tool I wanted to create, and it complements everything I've created on Instagram. It's that tool which you can read all my posts, get your blueprint, and if you put it all together, you're on your way. How around the world use it, athletes, actors, they use that tool. And it's, for me, as a sort of rule of thumb when it comes to coaching, for if you haven't done the blueprint, there's no, there's no coaching to be had. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
It's a great place to start.
Yeah. It looks like so it's like a personal development system where you're designing, your future in a few years' time, and like you said, it's all about analyzing your limiting beliefs and changing them and prioritizing and your habits as well. So you've pretty much done all the hard yards and getting all this information together and putting it into a nice system. So.
They often laugh and say, dude, you could have made 10 books out of one book, the blueprint. But it's true. It's 10 books in one. But it's a very simple process. I wanted it to be simple. I want it to be fun. It's something you print out all the time. A lot of people ask for digital copies and this, and I'm like, guys, I designed it specifically so you print this thing out and get your Crayolas out and start, making a mess. Like, you get your hands dirty in life. And when it comes to your life, why do we want to do it on a little computer or on an iPad? Get out there, clear everything on the table, mum and dad's table or wherever the hell you are, and thing out over a few days and go, this is my life. Right? I'm going to put more attention into this than Grand Theft Auto this weekend or whatever the guys play nowadays. So watch on Netflix. And that's really what I'm trying to create, a revolution with the blueprint of, let's get invested in our life. Like, we spend so much time doing, you know what it's like. People go to concerts. People will rave about everything else. They'll get a new car. But when it comes to our own life and looking at our own life, it's something I'll get around to or not even look at.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I mean, not a lot of people pay attention to improving their mind and their life and trying to find ways to improve it. I guess that, they just distract themselves and with drinking and going out partying and everything like that. So there you go. All right then. Okay, so you also, I wanted just to cover another one as well. In your Instagram video, you posted a really good video. It's all about putting your dreams first and not making it so your life. I mean, putting your dreams first so it doesn't fit into your life. So could you explain a bit about that one?
Yeah, it's actually my number one sort of rule. And realistically, when you talk about the thing that changed my life, that's the piece. And like I said, I fundamentally got it wrong, and we've all been taught the wrong thing from the day we're born. The thing that you have to do in life if you want to be successful, all successful people do is they decide what their vision is and what they want to create. And everything else has to fit into that vision. So the way I do it and the way I always share this with everyone is take everything in your life and throw it in the bin. You should have no loyalty to anyone or anything. That's make-believe, right? Your only loyalty on this planet is to share your unique gifts and talents and fulfill your life purpose. That's it. That's what you're here for. It doesn't matter what ancient book you read. Doesn't matter what scroll you find in, underneath some pyramid or underneath some mummy. That's what human beings are here to do. And if every human being fulfills that kind of thing within them, it all kind of works. It doesn't work, as we know, because most people aren't doing that. So throw everything in a bin, and then you pick out the things which fit into your vision. And if you have friends and family and if it don't fit in, then unfortunately you got to say goodbye. That's life. That's the sacrifice you pay. The other sacrifice is bringing everyone in who maybe doesn't support you, who doesn't think you could do it, and never get anywhere. So you're gonna have to pay a price either way. You're gonna have to learn to suffer either way. But if you take everything out of that bin, which is aligned with what you want to do, you move to the place where your industry exists. And I always say there's no point trying to be an astronaut living in Alaska. The space program is not in Alaska. It's not in Antarctica. It's not in New Zealand. And there's people walking around going, man, I can't wait to work with Elon Musk in the space program and SpaceX and Tesla. I'm like, well, number one, you better get over to California. You better start meeting some people, get in the game. It's not going to happen in downtown Sydney. I mean, it might, but highly unlikely.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know when the last time I saw someone launching a rocket in Sydney. So, so that's the hardest thing you have to do in your life, committing to something, deciding what you want to do. And it absolutely worked with what I did with before 5 a.m. I removed all the pieces, and I became extremely loyal to one thing, what I want to create, what I want to share. And if you choose the right thing, and this can also throw you off, if you don't choose what's aligned with who you want to be and what you want to do, you'll also fall off. But if you choose the thing you truly believe in your heart you want to share, and you will then, from all the things you remove, all the doubt, all the fear, all the negativity, you'll be able to replace them with people who see your vision. And you might have seen my post the other day, you can't build a church with a bunch of non-believers. And it's very true. What are we doing here? We got a wheelbarrow full of people who don't believe in us, will never see us as being great, will never, even after you've built the pyramids, they won't even believe you built it. There's a bunch of people in our lives we know who fit into that category. So, what are you guys doing? Get on with it. Get rid of your loyalties. Go build your thing. There's plenty of time to hang out with everyone once you've built your thing, built your empire, created what you believe in. But don't waste your time waiting for someone to give you permission. Don't waste your time hoping that, the stars line up magically and everyone's like behind you, because it's never going to happen. And on the journey, it gets harder. And you come up with more challenges. So you've got to be very staunch and very strict about what you create and what you build and what you do. And that's why you find very successful people are very abnormal. And I always say this, if you want to be successful, you have to learn to be unreasonable very early on.
That's really great. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, so the other day I was talking to my friend, and she's dreaming of starting her own like social media marketing agency. And she's got dreams and she's got passions and she wants to share her message to the world, but she's surrounded by an environment where it's a bit toxic. Her friends, they're not as ambitious as her and everything. And I think you just recently just touched on this one as well, when going after your dreams, but then you have to sort of like use, I guess you have to cut those friends out. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you do that? How do you leave those people who don't support you, in a nice way? Because I know a lot of people struggle with this. They want to go after their thing, but maybe their loved ones don't support them, or they're trying to cut them down subconsciously, or their friends. What was your process in which you got away from, the unsupportive group?
It's a great question. And the solution is work. In fact, the solution to everything is work. You fill your life up with your work.
Okay.
And if you quickly do that, you quickly fill yourself up with people who have energy around what you're trying to create. If you do it the other way around and start slashing people off and, nah, man, you hate me, and you're wasting your energy. And that goes against the very principle of all your energy, every ounce of energy in your body focused on what you want to create. That's what you do. So you go all in on your work. Every 5 minutes you have, every spare minute, you don't have time for dinner tonight. If you've got a bunch of negative people you've got to hang out with, that night you make sure you book a meeting with someone in your industry. Go and find someone. If you can't, go to a great location, your favorite hotel, and go and grab a cocktail by yourself, take your notepad and work. And fill your life up to such a point where you become this person. And where everyone gets it wrong, is you have to become who you want to be before you actually become it. And the ones who actually make it, it doesn't matter who you look at. If you look at them, they've had to become someone they aren't before they actually become that person. And a great analogy for that is Beyonce. Has to become Beyonce, the singer, as you know her, before she becomes Beyonce, if you know what I'm getting at. She has to go out and sing on stage. She has to become this thing before she actually becomes it. And it doesn't happen before that point. And Steve Jobs would be a great example. He had to become the Steve Jobs as we know him to create his company. He had to become a certain way. He was a very chilled kind of guy to start with, but he had to kind of become a businessman. He had to change the way he was perceived in the marketplace. And that's all you have to do. So if you work, you just have to start becoming that person. So if you're in fashion, if your friend's in wants to be in sort of a digital marketplace, then you fill your time up with those people. You find what those people do. What do they dress like? What do they eat? You immerse yourself with this industry. Now, that's kind of a broad spectrum because they eat everything in that kind of industry. But some industries you can kind of, narrow it down, like fashion, you could say. But at the end of the day, look, I dress like this. This is who I am. I walk into a room like this. You create yourself. And this is what I call positioning yourself. And the reason why no one believes you in life when you're starting out is because you haven't positioned yourself. It's the same problem with your company when you start your company. You haven't positioned yourself as that guy. So your friends and family can't believe you're that person. And the doubters can't believe you're that person because you haven't positioned yourself to be that person. You're still rolling around in your track pants and hoodie telling everyone I'm going to change the world. And human beings have this horrible, unfortunately, way where generally most of them only see what their eyes can see. So knowing that weakness of human beings, and you have to play to it, as much as you go, I wish they could see my talent and gifts, and I wish they'd see me for more. Well, unfortunately, for 99% of the world, their eyes tell them what they're going to see. That's why you have visionaries, people that create which hasn't been seen, and then the majority who, well, I see it only after it's built. Well, that's a little bit late in my book. But regardless, you've got to start becoming that person. So work, number one, throw yourself in. Number two, you got to believe you're that person, right? It's a shocking thing, and I'm sure we've all felt this before. When you think you're this person, but when you go and see your old crew and you go back to the hood, everyone's like, yeah, you're the same old Joe, you're the same old, Stephen, you're the same old. So you have to start becoming that person. And that's not fake it till you make it. That's just start becoming that person. Position yourself. And number two on that point is that's going to help you sell your services going forward. Because you believe in yourself. You believe you fit into this place. I belong. I'm in this marketplace. And not only have you positioned yourself in life with your friends and family, you also position yourself in the marketplace. So people start to know, hey, you're the guy that does all the cool interviews, and I love that,
That's great. Thanks for that. So you're saying that instead of, like slashing your friends or whatever, just cutting them out, don't waste your energy on that. Just surround yourself with the work that you love and the people that you want to get around with, and eventually, they'll just fade away. And you'll become this person that you want to be, and eventually you'll just build it up, right? Okay.
And that's it. Don't get carried away after, and everyone gets carried away after hater posts on Instagram. But love it, man, lots of likes,
Yeah.
But you don't have time for that energy. All your energy has to be on building and creating what you want to build. So so many people get caught up trying to slash when really that energy is being wasted.
Yep. Okay.
Don't prove anyone wrong.
Okay.
Just do your thing.
Great. You just mentioned about energy as well. Like, I can see you're really energetic and passionate. How do you keep your energy up as well? What's your routine to keep your energy up?
There's a couple of forms of energy you have to maintain. There's the sort of belief and what you want to create. If you find your passion, and this is where a lot of mainstream science has got it wrong, those who find their passion, their gift, their calling, and their purpose operate at a very different energetic level to those who haven't. So you know how scientifically we're meant to get 8 hours sleep. I'm sure you read that before. 8 hours sleep's good. Now that's for normal people. For those of us who found our passion, our calling, our mission, what we got to do, man. I got 20 more years. I got to do this thing.
Yeah.
That rule goes out the window, and that's why you hear a lot of successful people live off 6 hours sleep or 4 hours sleep. That's not because they're maniacs. It's because why the hell would you want to sleep when you're doing what you love? Sleep's just enough. It gives me enough time to energize, and bang, I got to get back on. So if you find the thing you love, you work on what you're passionate about, the benefits are tenfold. I always say this: if they pay you $100,000 a year to do something you hate, and they pay you $30,000 a year to do something you love, take the $30,000 and do what you love. Because you'll eventually find a way to make up that other 70 in terms of an energetic level, in terms of flow, in terms of opportunity, in terms of creativity. In fact, you could take zero money versus 100, and in 5 years you'll be making 10 times the 100, or at least 100. So you've got to kind of look at that. So if you look after your passion and do what you love, you'll find the energy you're looking for. And that's why when you walk down the street in Sydney, which I'm sure you have some mornings, people look lethargic. They don't look happy because they're going to places they hate. So energetically what's happened is by not doing what you love or what you care about, like Enzo Ferrari or whoever you're into, Steve Jobs, you already lost the energetic game. Done. Game over. So now going to the gym, doing all these other things, which are what I call the more superficial side, which is still important, but they're only one side of the energy equation. They still don't work out, because we all know people that don't do what they love, super fit, do the green juices, do all the things they read, but they haven't got that thing. They haven't got that vigor. They haven't got that zest for life. Yeah. So you've got to mix for two energies. So that's number one. Number two, to be energized, you have to make sure you eat pretty lightly, number one. So don't eat too much. Your digestive system takes up about 40% of your energy. So eat lean, eat green. That's the kind of rule if you want to be energized. Stay away from coffee and alcohol as much as you can. And, fill your body up with green juice, I always say, and water. That's it. Very simple process. You repeat that over 90 days, 180. You make it part of your life, and that's it. There's no diets. One thing I'm not big on diets and things like that. I'm just like, you can have a very great life if you just make it part of your lifestyle. And the way you create a beautiful life, and if you ever watch people have a beautiful life, and I'm sure we've all seen them before, kind of walking by and doing their thing, they have a way they do things. And it's just part of their life. It's part of the fabric of who they are. They wake up, they have their green juice, they do their workout. There's no big effort because it's just what I'm doing for the next 60 years, But it's always a big effort when, no, man, I'm going to, get ready for this wedding. I'm going to look really good in this dress and everyone's going to think I'm the best looking bridesmaid. Well, you know what? It's stressful. You create stress by not being consistent. So if you're consistent with your diet, your health, you eat a bit less, you keep it green and lean, you'll have a lot more energy, number one. And if you don't make it like a fad, and you just enjoy it. And if you have to go out on a Friday night and have a couple of cocktails, that's the exception. It's 10, 20% of what you do. The rest is in order. Come Monday, you're back to normal. And if you do that for 20 years, you're fine.
Great, thanks for that. It's all about the energy, which is the beliefs, and also the superficial, which is going to the gym, and you recommend eat lean and green foods as well. So that's great.
And the other thing I should mention to everyone is you want to exercise for energy.
Okay.
We live in this sort of environment where a lot of people live, they exercise and burn their bodies out.
Yep.
We've all gone to the gym and done that, and then you need to have a rest day and stuff like that. You want to be consistent, right? So go for a 30-minute walk, 45-minute walk, do a 30-minute, 45-minute workout. Don't burn yourself out, because the trick's to go every day. You know, you want to go every day, right? It's just part of my life. That's what I do. Between 8 and 9, I'm at the gym. There's no rest days, there's no breaks. Now, if you're a top athlete or bodybuilder, you know, you don't do that. That's a different thing. But for the average person, you want to exercise for energy.
Great. All right.
Not burn yourself out. So that's one I forgot.
Okay. Consistency. We'll remember that one. Fantastic. Thanks for that. Okay. There was also, I noticed that your Instagram following, it's pretty big, and you've accomplished a major goal. You managed to get over 500,000 followers, and I think it's only taken you about 24 months to achieve that. So could you just give us an idea? How did you go about doing that? You were able to build such a huge following so quickly. You didn't use any spam tactics, and it was just all organic, and and it's all genuine. People do love you, and you're sharing great information. How did you get such a big following over a short period of time?
It's true. I'm known as the guy who's grown his page organically. And let me tell you, there's a lot of tricks and things I could have used and still can use to grow my page well over 1 million. But I just kind of wanted to share what I wanted to share. And I wanted to connect with my community in a very organic way. But on the other side of being organic, and this is the thing everyone forgets, you get a very real audience who find you organically, who come to you organically, which never happens any other way. And those people are the ones who buy your products, want to get invested in your coaching. There's no point having a big following and no one paying the bills. No one coming to your events, no one caring about what you're doing. So that's the kind of the trade-off. You can see some of these really big pages, and we always have a good laugh with some of my mates. The amount of things I can, with my blueprint, for example, the sale ratio on that is phenomenal compared to industry standards. How many people will buy a blueprint versus not have one? Yeah. So you want to be organic in a very real way, and that's not a marketing tactic or anything like that. That's just common sense. And the reason why you want to be organic and you want to do it slowly is you learn things along the way. It's better to make all these. If you guys scroll down to the bottom of my page, which I honestly don't have time to do, it's boring. It takes forever to scroll down. I think there's 3,000 posts, and I don't want to look back and go, oh man, did you really post some of that? I can't believe I thought that was cool. I thought that was motivational. Yeah. So I try not to scroll down and look. But if you guys scroll down, you'll see it's just I'm working this thing out. I'm going, I'll try this and see what happens, see what works. But if you grow really quickly, what happens is you lose that ability to learn and try things. And it very quickly stops becoming, and this is true for all artists and creative souls, it very quickly stops becoming art when you realize what works and what doesn't work.
Okay.
So it quickly becomes like, right now I can tell you what posts will work and what posts won't work. And the delicate balance is deciding, well, I don't care if it's going to be popular or not. I just want to share this information. So you maybe get half the likes and half the comments, but you just want to share that. But as your page grows, what you'll find is you won't want to share the things which won't work. You'll start sharing all the things which work. And that kills your creative soul. That creates that kills what you started this thing for. So what I'm saying is if you grow slowly and be consistent and connect with your fan base, what that does is give you time to build a brand. And gives you time to learn and iron out your mistakes. And the other thing it does, it learns how the hell you're going to position yourself in the marketplace. If you go and get 1 million followers overnight, you're in big trouble because you haven't worked. You're learning with 1 million people. And some people go, that's kind of cool. I'm like, no, I'd rather iron out my mistakes so when I have 1 million people follow me, I'm prepared. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know what I stand for. This is kind of my style. This is my vibe. And then you resonate with that. So that's number one. But actually how I built it, very simple process. I posted 8 times a day, 6 to 8 times a day. So you had to break through. I don't do that anymore, mainly because the captions are a lot longer.
You got some really great captions. Like I love the stories that you say, and when I wake up, I just like look at the captions, read them, like, oh my God, it's amazing. And just, it's like a blog post, each of your images. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So that's kind of how, so number one, I posted a lot. So I broke through. So my number one rule when someone wants to grow a following on any platform, you got to break through. So that means you got to post a lot. If you guys don't break through, you're like every other blog and Instagram page online. After a little while, it's boring as hell and you drop it off and it's a dead page.
Yep.
You got to break through. So 6 to 8 times, you got to get attention. Once you do that, you got to, everyone that messages you, your family is really important. And then your followers are just a little more important when you're starting out, right? That's how you got to look at it. So because they're the ones who are going to pay the bills, come to the events, buy a product, do whatever you want. So you get back to every single person, which is my golden rule. Even to this day, I try to get back to everyone.
Yeah,
I don't anymore, but I definitely try my hardest to get back to everyone. And you treat them like family because they don't have to, like, when I look at my life, I don't comment on anyone's picture. I don't comment on anything. I'm just not that guy. So these people are coming out of their way from all over the world to say, hey, Joe, that's cool. Or, thank you, man. You changed my life. I feel I have a duty to get back to that person, at least say thank you at the bare minimum. So that's number 2. Number 3, you got to make friends, right? This is a digital world, but it's also the real world, and you got to learn to make friends. So we made some great friends along the way, and we created Motivation Mafia. We created Impact Billions, and a lot of the guys you guys follow are my best mates. But that's because you have to mix the two worlds. You know, a lot of people think online is just online, but it's still the real world. And in the real world, you still got to make friends. You got to make connections. You got to have meetings, and eventually what you guys have to do, and it's very true for all of us, online has to be the smallest part of your business. You may have 20 million followers or 100 million followers like the Kardashians or whoever, you guys follow, but that's a small part of their business. If they lost online, they're still in the game, So that's how you guys got to think. It's just part of a platform. So that's how I kind of built it up. So consistency, every day, post, get back to everyone, share what I believe to be right from here. And that way, if you do that, you can share a lot more content. If you do it the other way around, as you guys know, you can't write. You go, oh man, I can't think of the next sentence. But if you share what's pure and right, off you go. And that's really how I got that following to this level. No tricks. I've never used any sort of apps or anything like that. I don't really get how you'd use them anyway. So I'm really basic on what I do.
Okay, great. Okay, so it's all about being authentic and, just sharing it straight from your heart and being consistent and just continually, just posting it out there. And eventually, just organically people will just follow your message and then you'll be able to, share more. And you're sort of like and you said that you're building the foundation first so that eventually when you hit that 1 million or billion, whatever it is, then you're ready and you've already found yourself. So that's really great because a lot of people have seen it. Like I saw this Instagram account. This guy, I think he posted about just 12 posts, but he had like 10,000 followers. I was thinking, how did he do that? And then he probably used some sort of software, but it just looks kind of scammy and everything. So yeah. And I really like what you just said about being authentic. So that's really great. Okay.
And the other thing on that point, don't be afraid of sharing your story. In the new economy, that's the only currency you have. Plenty of people can create products and services. I know a lot of you guys and most people are going, yeah, but Joe, you're in a business which lends itself very easily to online, because you can make picture quotes, and then that's kind of maybe true. Bit like fitness models lend themselves very easily to Instagram, but someone's sitting there, I know, going, but my product doesn't look good on Instagram. How do I share this thing? And if you guys struggle with that, then you have to share a story about your business and what you're doing, and share that. Don't be afraid of saying, this is how our business works, and this is Bill, and he drives the forklift, and he's a great guy. Or, hey, we just signed a deal with Toyota forklifts, and make it interesting, make it fun. Share the inner workings of your business if you got nothing interesting to share, because you have to find stories, and every business has a story. Every product has a story, and if you share that, share the staff, share what's going on, share the process, share how the hell you came up with this idea.
talk about the vulnerabilities of who you are in your business, and that's where the money is in the new economy. The money isn't in the sort of strong suit, staunch, that's the 80s. That's done, if that's for big brands, that works, but that's always what they've done, and they're all suffering because of that. With a new generation, because they can't connect. So if you want to connect with your audience, tell great stories, be vulnerable, tell them the inner workings, talk to them about how on Monday this happened and this is what we do. And you'll find you get people who care about entrepreneurship will follow you, and you'll find people who care about what you're doing will really start to care.
Great. Excellent. Thanks for that. All right. Okay, so how about it's waking up at 5 a.m. A lot of people struggle with this. This is a big one, and yes, it is true. Like leaders, they always wake up super early, way before everyone else. So how did you build up this habit of waking up at 5 a.m.? What was your routine? Because it's so easy to just roll over and just push the snooze button and then just sleep for another hour or two. How did you do that and wake up at before 5 a.m. and get everything all done?
It's kind of a bit like what I said before. Find your passion, find your purpose. Waking up's not hard. You kind of like it's a misstep when a lot of people try to wake up early in the morning without something to look forward to. And this is an analogy I always use. Here's a great analogy actually. If I tell you guys, hey, meet me at Sydney Airport at 4:30. We're going to go fly to the Bahamas in a private jet, and we're going to go drive Lamborghinis and drink cocktails and have a great party on the back of a boat for the next few days. How many people make the effort to get out of bed? How many? And it's still free. There you go. So now we don't have a problem waking up, right? That's true. Yeah. So problem solved. So we know there's no problem. The problem is having something to look forward to. And why we don't do it is because we don't have something to look forward to. So the trick is, number one, you got to get to bed at a decent time. You got to, and most of us want to go to bed at midnight. I want to stay up as late as possible because work took everything out of me, and I got to watch this whole season on Netflix before I go to bed of whatever you guys are watching. So you do have to flip the script and get to bed before 10 o'clock.
Before 10?
Now you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're starting out.
Okay.
Now me, do I go to bed before 10? Definitely not. But, I've run this pattern for a while. But what I generally say is 10 till 4, 10 till 4:30. That gives you about 6.5, 7 hours sleep. But if you have something to look forward to when you wake up, you'll get out of bed. So make it fun. If you guys like playing computer games, it's not really what I'm about, playing computer games. But if you like waking up playing computer game, then go and wake up and play a goddamn computer game. If you guys like watching Top Gun in the morning or like watching a movie, watch it at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like you train yourself and have something to look forward to. Make the most fun things you do before you go to work rather than waiting for the end of the day to go, I can't wait to hang out with my mates. You can do that too, but have something to look forward to. And then if you do that, get your sort of 6 to 8 hours sleep a night, and everyone's different, so there's no golden rule. You'll know when you're ready. You don't want to burn yourself out, and then just get into the pattern. And once you wake up, do your workout, do your exercise, eat lean and green, and you'll find if you look after that side of the energy equation, rest is only one part, right? And everyone focuses too much on rest. I need my rest. But if your diet's right, your exercise is right, and your mindset in terms of stress levels is right, sleep becomes a much smaller factor. But when you're stressed out, when you aren't in physical shape, you've got a bit of fat around your gut, you're a bit breathless, you're not there, you'll need to sleep more. And when you're not exercising for energy twice a day, going for a walk, being mindful and listening to some tunes and meditating, if you don't look after that side of things, rest will always be the most important part of the way you recover energy. So you've got to start to use the other ways to recover energy and gain energy, and sleep is just one very small piece of the puzzle. It takes a bit of time, 6 hours of your day, but it's not the whole energy equation. But if you get the other things really right, and if you look at a lot of top performers, they're very staunch on these things. They wake up, they work out, they eat right. They're in relatively good shape. They may not be the fittest people on earth, but they're in relatively good shape. And then they got something to look forward to. They've got a mission, they've got something to go for. Then that's it. That's kind of the equation. And you know what? It takes time. And 90 days, 180 days, to learn any routine, because you've just spent 9 years, 10, 20 years of your life waking up at the same time. It's going to be hard to get out of that pattern tomorrow. And it messaged me in a week, Joe, this doesn't work, man. I tried it for 7 days. I'm like, yeah, but let's spend the same amount of time waking up before 5 a.m. as we spent waking up at 8 a.m., which maybe for some of you is 20 years. Yeah. Well, it's going to take you, X amount of time to break that pattern. But once you do that, once you wake up early and give what you care most about, your energy and attention, your next project, your business idea, that energy and attention, that's when you have the breakthrough where you can flip the script and start to do what you love for a living and what you care about, or start your business and work less on your day job. And that's the general equation of what I teach, right? Wake up early, work on your passion and all your ideas, even before they're real. Create them. Once you've created them, you go to work. You work on your full-time job. Once you start to get a bit more traction on this 5 o'clock thing, and you do that for a year, your idea starts to become real. You start making contact. Then you can go, start your business. Then you can take a part-time job and, start your business. So that's kind of what I talk about. And hopefully if you guys do really well, you can quit your job altogether. And I know some of you can't wait and work and not even have to do the part-time job at Woolies, stacking the shelves or wherever you guys do your thing, and work full-time on your business. It's a really simple equation, and there's not much risk if you do it that way.
That's great. I love what you just said about you're building that habit of waking up early, and even if you're even if not working, even just make it so you just wake up just to play a game or something that you really enjoy doing, just to build that habit first, and then eventually you can use that waking up early habit into your into your dreams and everything. It's just important to build that habit. So that's really great. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for that. Okay, so just running a bit short on time. So yep. So what top books? Just quickly, what books have influenced you the most? Just top 3 books.
Top 3 books. I reckon you get 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I reckon you get anything by Seth Godin. That'll break your mindset. Purple Cow is a good one to start with. Yep. And the third one, not a business book, but will teach you a lot about business and life, is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Oh, that's a great one.
They're free, I recommend. And that's the book which will teach you about the journey of life, which no matter what you do, you have to respect that and understand how this thing works rather than being upset when it doesn't work out.
Fantastic. Love it. Okay, so how can people get in contact with you as well? And I know that you get a lot of emails, but how can people find out what you're doing and your emails and your websites and everything? So how can people?
Yeah, it's cool. So you can find me at before 5 a.m. on most platforms. You can go to before5am.com to get the blueprint. And if you guys want to email me and you need more information, or you want to change something, you can email me just directly at joe@before5am.com.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot for that. Well,
no worries,
Joe. I really appreciate your time today. You've shared some really great wisdom with us, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your experience. And I know that you're going to inspire over 1 billion people. I can definitely see that in you, and keep doing what you're doing. And we need more people like you to help light the way. So thank you very much for that, Joe.
Try my best, man. Thank you, and thanks to everyone. Go have a great day. And I'll chat with you guys later.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Joe. We appreciate it.
See you,
mate.
Bye, mate.